Ever wondered if you've been lying to yourself? It's an unsettling question, isn't it? But it's one that we must all grapple with as we navigate the labyrinth of human existence. Welcome to the world of self-deception, a domain of paradoxes and subtle illusions where we are both the deceiver and the deceived. Unlike simple lies, where the liar and the lied to are separate entities, self-deception is a dance of the self with the self. It pervades our everyday lives, subtly shaping our perceptions, our decisions, and ultimately, our reality. Think of it as an artful magician, pulling strings behind the scenes, making us believe what we want to believe, not what is necessarily true. It's a veil we drape over our own eyes, a comforting illusion we willingly embrace. And who better to guide us through this maze than the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre? Join us as we delve into Sartre's intriguing exploration of self-deception. Enter Jean-Paul Sartre, the man who dissected self-deception. Born in the early 20th century, Sartre became one of the most influential thinkers of his time. His life was deeply intertwined with the city of Paris, where he spent most of his years engaged in intellectual pursuits. Sartre's philosophy, existentialism, challenged the very core of human existence. He argued for the primacy of individual freedom and responsibility, asserting that we alone define our essence through our actions. His ideas shook the intellectual landscape of post-war France, redefining the way people thought about their lives. But his philosophy wasn't limited to grand ideas about existence. It also delved into the intricacies of human behavior. One of these intricacies was self-deception, a concept Sartre explored with a keen eye and sharp pen. He dissected how we deceive ourselves, shedding light on the mechanisms behind this pervasive human tendency. Sartre's exploration of self-deception was groundbreaking, and it all started with his early thoughts. At the heart of Sartre's philosophy, we find the concept of bad faith. Now, bad faith, or mauvaise foi, as Sartre would say, is essentially self-deception. But it's not your garden variety self-deception. It's a unique kind of dishonesty with oneself, and it's deeply rooted in human consciousness. Sartre believed that we humans are, by nature, free. We are condemned to this freedom, as he would say. This freedom, however, is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows us to shape our own existence. We can choose our actions, our attitudes, our whole way of being. But on the other hand, it burdens us with responsibility. Every choice we make, every action we take, defines who we are, and that can be a terrifying prospect. So what do? We deceive ourselves. We act in bad faith. We deny our freedom, our responsibility. We pretend to be something we're not, to be trapped in roles, patterns, expectations. We tell ourselves that we are this way or that way, not because we choose to be, but because we have to be. We hide from our own freedom, our own responsibility, by lying to ourselves. But as Sartre continued to reflect, his understanding of self-deception evolved. Sartre's later reflections brought a new depth to his understanding of self-deception. As he matured, Sartre's perspective on this topic evolved, moving beyond the individual and into the realm of the social. This shift brought a new complexity to his ideas, painting self-deception as not just a psychological phenomenon, but a social one as well. Sartre came to understand that self-deception is not an act committed in isolation. It is deeply intertwined with our relationships with others. He saw how we often deceive ourselves in response to societal pressures and expectations. We construct a false image of ourselves, a facade, to fit into the mold that society has set for us. This self-deception, according to Sartre, is a form of bad faith. Bad faith in Sartre's philosophy is the act of denying one's own freedom and responsibility. It is a way of escaping the existential anxiety that comes with the recognition of our absolute freedom. When we deceive ourselves into believing that we are bound by societal conventions, we are acting in bad faith. It's somewhat ironic, isn't it? We deceive ourselves into believing we are less free than we actually are. We create our own cages, our own restrictions. And yet, according to Sartre, we have the power to break free from these self-imposed constraints at any moment. This is not to say that Sartre advocates for a life without rules or morals. Rather, he emphasizes the importance of acknowledging our freedom and taking responsibility for our actions. We have the freedom to choose, but we must also bear the consequences of our choices. Sartre's reflections on self-deception also extended to how we perceive others. He argued that we often deceive ourselves about the true nature of other people, reducing them to mere objects that serve our needs and desires. This form of self-deception, he believed, is at the root of many social injustices. Sartre's ideas on self-deception have left a lasting impact on philosophy and psychology alike. His insights into the social nature of self-deception have shed light on the complex interplay between individual psychology and societal structures, adding a new layer to our understanding of human behavior. Sartre's ideas continue to shape our understanding of ourselves and our world. His explorations into self-deception have left a lasting impression on both philosophy and psychology, challenging us to consistently question the narratives we construct about ourselves. From the labyrinthine corridors of existentialism, Sartre's concepts have found their way into the heart of modern thought. His assertion that we often deceive ourselves to avoid the discomfort of reality and responsibility is now a cornerstone in understanding human behavior. In psychology, Sartre's ideas have informed our understanding of cognitive dissonance, the tension we feel when our actions contradict our beliefs. His work has also influenced the field of psychotherapy, where acknowledging self-deception is often the first step to personal growth. In philosophy, Sartre's thoughts on self-deception have fueled debates on authenticity and personal responsibility. They've also inspired a re-evaluation of the power dynamics in societal structures, challenging us to see how we might be deceiving ourselves about our own complicity in systems of oppression. Sartre's legacy is not just about understanding self-deception, but about understanding the human condition. He pushes us to confront the uncomfortable truths about ourselves, to break free from the illusions we create, and to embrace the freedom and responsibility that come with authenticity. As we conclude, let us carry with us this thought. As Sartre would have it, to confront our self-deceptions is to confront the freedom and responsibility that define our humanity.